happens out there and why we have certain parameters around certain things with the, the sheet itself and how that affects our users or the roofers that are putting our product on. Let me run through this workmanship guide real quick, or at least the PowerPoint that put together. So like I said, you guys actually own this document, so I stole it and we put it into a PowerPoint. All right, so you can't really see it there, but that's what we're talking about, banana curl. And like Tia was saying, it's the shape of a banana, right? So it cannot come out and curve more than half an inch. It's an inch.
Half inch is
Well,
on banana
we
curl?
don't do banana curl for them, so
What's
I
my
don't.
bit? 'Cause
My bit's an inch.
It's
Okay.
tighter on the CE stuff.
Yeah. So the cool thing about this thing is clearly it shows you what the problem is, right? And it also tells you what the common causes are. So for new operators or for somebody that's maybe transitioning in and out, it gives them what could potentially be causing it and which part of the line they need to go to correct it, right? So usually when it's banana curl, you're gonna have some tension issues, or it could be a thickness thing, where you got one thicker sheet on one side and it kind of tapers to the other, that kind of thing. Blocking, they usually don't happen with your product. You have so many additives in there. You have an anti-block, which is basically like a wax that kind of migrates to the surface. So blocking is when they go to kick that roll out, that it sticks to itself and it doesn't roll out, right? And you can imagine what a pain that is on the roof, right? So for your product, it doesn't happen very often, but it can happen. So
Anybody know
there's,
what that is?
oh,
Yeah. I've had-
That looks more like,
Tucking chain.
that looks more like a tucking chain than a chop.
so it's called chopping, right? Wrinkles in the sheet. There's a good example of it right there, right? You see it all alongside of that sheet.
I guarantee you that picture came from the there. They have a lot bigger issue with it than us.
I imagine the pitting probably came from there too.
That came out of our plan, and I took that picture on a roof of a building where this roll was installed.
So you guys see the problem, right? So it's usually like, it says mag.
Oh wow, I thought that was a divot in like the roof.
No, the TiO2 dropped out and went back in. That is on a warehouse. If you fly to the Dallas airport and get a rental car, when you're pulling out, there's a giant warehouse with a light that's on top of it. And you can see it on Google Maps.
I don't know where it was. So that's called delamination, right? That's where the product's actually delaminating from itself. We didn't get it good and stuck down. There's a bigger example of it. So again, it's usually got to do with the edge profile being a little bit off that you need to adjust. I think this is Mount Vernon. So this is a kind of an example of lay flat, right? So you can only imagine like if you're running that welder on a roof and this product's kind of wavy or not laying flat, once you're gonna get to a point where it's actually probably gonna crease on itself and cause a void right there, and then they'll have to come back and put a patch or something over it.
What do we usually call this? Like lasagna and
Fullness.
waviness? What?
Fullness.
Fullness?
There's some exposed scrim. You gotta see the yarn sticking out right there. That's a no-no. So again, that's either, those knives are set in a fixed position, so something got out of whack going to the knife and makes that edge trim that you guys regrind. This is an example of what you could probably get back sometimes from a distributor, or if you take an RMA back because some issue, like we talked earlier, they don't always handle our product the correct manner. This is actually RV product out of Mount Vernon.
That's off the line. That's not a return.
Yeah, they did that themselves.
Yeah.
I try to give them all the benefit of the doubt and tell them everybody outside the company does it. So the RV probably, that's the thing, I don't know if you guys know the different niches with the different plants, right? So we talked a little bit about Mount Vernon having the SA line and the butyl line. But they also make a product that's called RV, and it goes on an RV, right? But they don't make detail membrane. Now, this is pretty close to detail membrane, but it's a little different. Whereas you guys make detail membrane here. So your niche is you're faster than everybody, and you can make a 12-foot wide sheet. Nobody else can do that. Gainesville, they are kind of the accessory guys. So they take the detail membrane and they thermoform it into different stuff. They cut the T-patches out.
They make reinforced detail membrane.
Yeah, they make the reinforced. And they also have
That
a
just
little,
means detail was screwed.
yeah. So detail membrane is unsupported, you know, unreinforced.
They make the walkway
And then they have
pad.
the little walkway line.
Everybody else makes coated middle. We don't make that. The TPO that goes on the middle.
So they run the detail formulation out of the core extruder?
I don't know if it has a cap and a core, or if
It's just like
they're both
details.
white, or
It's just
I
the
don't
cap.
know. But,
It's just
oh
a
no,
cap with
it's
screw
got a,
underneath?
There's no screw.
But I thought you just said they made reinforced
I thought it was
detail.
reinforced.
Oh,
screw.
yeah, the reinforced stuff. Yeah, they gotta do both, you know, so.
But does it have a gray core or a white core?
We don't hardly see that one.
I don't know either. They do make it and send it off to have third-party accessories made out of it, like the traffic
Is
cones
that
and
are we
things.
talking about the Flex?
Yeah, it'd be the flex
Yeah, the
stuff.
Flex looks just like regular TPO. It's got the white on top and the gray on bottom.
Yes.
It's just, when they call it Flex, that's good reason for it. It's
Sure.
very, very floppy.
Yeah, it'll go to that place like Flash Go where they make those little boots that have the slit up the side. I don't know if you guys have seen. You probably seen
Yeah,
it.
looks like a traffic cone.
Yeah, traffic cone.
But we don't like those, because we'd rather you buy injection molded mid boots than that thing.
Well, the funny thing about them is they make that product, that traffic cone, for us and all our competitors and themselves. They make injection molded witches hats or the bike boots for themselves. And, you know, the good thing is the one guy, Eric Compton, he's director of operations or something for him. He kind of took a liking to us, so he's been giving us some pretty valuable feedback on how our product compares to all the competitors' product, because he has everybody else's product on a big rack that they weld every day. You know?
We are running, just so you know, we're running vent boots in TPO or in IM today. And then I believe, when do we change to the, so we're putting the mold in tomorrow,
Friday.
on Friday? Okay. Okay.
You're doing the SA boots tomorrow?
The
We
whip.
put a whip and then they,
Oh, and then they.
but yeah.
I got you. So that's kind of the RV product. It's got kind of a, I don't know, real embossed edge. It's not really embossed, but they're talking about gauge bands there. So that's where you got a thicker spot in the roll, and as it keeps wrapping on itself, it kind of creates a hump there or a band. This one is not a problem. I mean, the product's still good. It's still gonna be watertight, but if we ever get a new contractor, sometimes they say, hey, Carlos' product didn't have this shine to it, GAS got this shine, what? It also depends on which angle that sun's at, because if it's directly overhead, you may not see it. But if it's kind of at an angle, you can kind of see that different sheen there.
It does make a big deal on colors, which is why we don't like to make some, like we won't do custom colors or like the slate gray and 12-foot, because it's always shiny on the edge and it looks like a completely different color.
And the dark bronze is even more susceptible to that. That was pretty straightforward, right? You can't have a hole in the sheet. There's some more examples of lay flat. There's your pitting. I don't know, you guys don't fight that too much here, do you?
I mean, we do, not to the extent the other plants do. We're stricter on it too.
Yeah, there's actually a spec around this. There can't be so many pits within a certain area, but we all usually make a visual judgment on, what is it, arm's length? No.
Arm's length under normal light.
Yeah.
We actually, I don't know if you've seen, Jake and Kevin actually cut out some 4x6 samples of not okay, fix it and
Yeah.
it's okay, to have like
I like that.
a visual comparison for the guys instead of, well, my arm's length is different than how long your arm is, and my
Yeah.
glasses are, I'm not wearing them, so hey, like,
And so you can see there's a number of things that go into cause of pitting. And I know they fight it in cedar quite a bit. I think it has to do with their elevation. Podwells doesn't believe that, so I don't have any other explanation. So that's staining on the sheet. You guys had some dye drool or something come out, or maybe some grease dripped onto the sheet or something.
RTO, does that do that?
There's dye drool, same thing, just a foreign, something foreign on there. Telescoping.
Is that your hand, Jake?
That's my hand.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys made that here?
Yeah.
Now I know it is. Now when I say I'm gonna talk to winder operators.
We tried to rewind it by hand and that's what we got.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we can allow some telescoping, but we don't want more than, 2 inches between the highest and lowest spot there.
Why? Because when you roll it out, it doesn't go like this, it kinda goes,
And so then you got two guys on the end of a 100-foot sheet trying to get that thing straight. And, there's an art to that too. If you get a little air underneath it, you can kind of maneuver it.
fluff it.
But so there you can see how much thicker it is on this edge right here, as it's wound up. When you unroll it, that's what it's gonna look like. And again, you can only imagine running a welder down through that. So that, I don't know how you guys get this picture, but so that's a translucent cap.
The
So
TiO2 out of it.
yeah, you actually have everything's there except for the white, right? So that's what your product would look like if you pulled all the white out. It would probably still be watertight. It's just not going to give you any reflectance for sure. There's another good example. Some wrinkling.
That's weird.
That is.
Mm-hmm.
Admittedly, we don't look at the core as much as we probably should. But
Is that your hand
That's
there?
not mine, so.
That's Baron's hand.
is it?
Hand
I
models.
know. I didn't know this.
Pretty sure that's a Jake, Kim, and Eric special picture right there.
That is a Jake and Eric special.
Okay, so that's in every sheet we make.
It can be a lot worse.
It's just not as pronounced as this, right? So that happens when, at the winder, when you get that first wrap and then you get the second wrap, there's an offset, right? And then as it keeps on going, it's gonna keep putting that spot, that line in the same spot because of that offset.
You've got that thicker part, and then you're dropping down to the core that's a little bit thinner from where I'm rolling over myself. So that little spot is a little stretch. And it's the teeniest, tiniest stretch, but
And again, that's still good product. It's still gonna be watertight, the whole bit, but, it's usually a tension issue of the winder, right? So you got back the tension down a little bit. Not enough to create telescoping, but at least enough to get rid of that. But it's in every sheet we make and every plant we make. That's an example of usually something you might get back, like we talked earlier, from some kind of trucking company, distributor, or something like that. We can do it ourselves, but I'd like to think that we
we
don't.
do that a lot ourselves.
We'll nick the other rolls.
This picture's from Mount Vernon, it did not come out of our plant.
So there's some more color lines in it. You get some streaks in it. Fleece. I don't have a good picture of that. That was it. Oh yeah. So to finish that thing, Mount Vernon runs no fleece, right?
No, they run fleece.
Oh yeah, they run fleece. It's Gainesville runs no fleece.
Mount Vernon does regular fleece, the heavy fleece, and then they do a thing called rip grip, which is like super thick fleece, and they make it in these rolls like this big around. And it's for like oil and gas fields. They
Oil
put
wells.
the TPO down and the fleece up, so when the trucks drive over it, it absorbs the oil.
It's really good for garages too. Unfortunately, I've yet to get enough to put in my garage, but I definitely want to.
ISO board's good for your garage.
And then Valdosta's, I don't know what their claim to fame is going to be until they get the full extrusion
The
in.
jumbo
right?
winder.
Yeah, they got a jumbo winder, but
Mount Vernon also has jumbo.
yeah, it's not going to be cost effective to make up giant rolls in Georgia and ship them to Mount Vernon for them to put the SA on. But we have the capability, right? But their claim to fame is going to be what they call co-extrusion. So they're going to bring another barrel into the cap. And so we're going to put the theory is we're going to put a layer of good plastic. We're going to put a layer of some kind of cheaper plastic or something there, and then sandwich it with more good plastic on top. R&D's running some trials on it, and Valdos's set up to do it, but they don't have anything installed yet.
And it all comes out of the same die, so you have different extruders and milk pipes, and then it goes through like this little block, Jake, please correct me if I'm wrong. It goes through like a little block and then into the die, so it's coming out of the die in those multiple layers.
Yeah, it's gotta be a hell of a bouncing act, is all I can say. I don't know.
Yeah, how many can control flow through the die?
There's companies that do 40 layers, like a melt that they're allowed to go back in.
I believe a K-cup is 7 layers,
It should
isn't it?
be, I don't wanna say relatively easy.
Yeah. But it's gonna be on the county.
Let me look at it. I forgot to work that one out.
Is it full overall? It's gonna be a full
Yeah, like in
overall?
the die, it'll lose your best.
Okay, so
Cylinders on
you'll
top.
see 4 layers then
When
in
you cut it.
encapsulation.
Mhm.
I thought it was gonna be housed inside somehow, when we were having to try and encapsulate that.
All right, so next thing, and again, this was kind of built on some of the stuff they do in the asphalt world. So they do process and shift audits, right? You guys kind of do a shift audit where you go out and get the product every day and you test it. The other part of that is they actually go out and watch the operators doing tests.
We do that too.
Right. But in the shingle world, the operators do a lot more tests than what you guys do. They're doing color and thickness here, obviously length and width. And so again, one of Tia's folks will go out and watch the operator do the job and make sure that they're performing the test correctly. Warehouse audits, you guys doing those?
Yeah, they're kind of, we were doing them and then we stopped doing them because they're value added, then we started doing them again so we can check the box on our quality systems and culture audit.
Right. So
We have
again,
nice clean warehouses and our stuff's inside, so it's,
and it doesn't lose any attributes, right? So in the modified bitumen world, they actually go out every month and pull old product and put it through the full testing, because it'll actually lose stickiness and some other attributes. But it's got a granule, it's got rocks on the surface. Sometimes the rocks don't always stick, and they gotta remeasure that. In the TPO world, it doesn't fit really, because like Tia just said, you got a clean warehouse, you're using engineered resins, you don't lose any attributes, right? Now, tears go down a little bit over time, but
there's nothing that we can do here to fix that.
yeah,
There's no button or lever.
there's no button for that. And then the QA bonus, that's where you guys send us product on a monthly basis. We put it through a smaller subset of testing, and then we generate data for the QA bonus. So just to give you guys an idea where everybody's at, when I say everybody, I mean all the plants. Everybody is at 100%. I don't know why that's not pulling for October. But. So these are the tests that we do, right? So when we do roll weight, we cut a 12 inch by 12 inch square. We weigh it, we get, pounds per square foot. Do ply adhesion, we did that. Surface defects, we're just looking for anything on it. Do the measurement of caps over scrim, and then edge encapsulation.
How is Mount Vernon only sending you 2 samples for an entire quarter when you're supposed to do 5 per month?
That's all
Like,
we have.
scroll down, how many do we have?
We got 5.
Oh, maybe that is, that's just January.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the beginning of the year startup stuff. And a lot of times Mount Vernon will be on that RV product for the majority of the month. And they only may run 60 mil for a week or 2 or something. But like I said, you guys are at 100%, all the plants are at 100%, even Valdosta. So what we're looking at, hopefully next year, I don't know if we're gonna get it approved fully or not, is we're gonna start using more statistical measurements like your CPK data. And that's why we showed it to Randy and he said, what's going on with edge encapsulation? And we gave him the story and he said,
If they make that a bonus metric, we will have a riot.
well, that's why we showed it to Randy and he said, well, that's gonna change, because we explained to him what was going on and showed him that every plant is in the red. And we said, look, it's a spec issue. It's nothing, they have no control over that. they're fighting 3 or 4 factors. And to make a good sheet, they gotta get an encapsulated edge, they gotta make it 10 foot wide. And, you know, not always does that encapsulated edge happen. So like, my experience with something like that is I used to work for a printing company years ago. We made Star-Kissed tuna labels. You guys know Star-Kissed, right? You know Charlie tuna? Well, Charlie's got a little black outline he's supposed to stay in. And when you make labels, you make a whole sheet of these same labels. And so dead center, Charlie's right in his little outline, but as he gets to the edge, you gotta make a judgment call which way Charlie's gonna go. You know, he may not always be in his little outline there. Same deal, we had to do a sheet walk and other things like that. All right, so I'll show you guys this. I don't know if you guys have ever, it's usually Tia that's gonna answer these questions. And we
Delegated this year to Eric and Kim, South Road.
And we do bring operators in for one set, and that's why I show this to the operators, right? There's a section that's dedicated just to them, okay? But yearly, what happens is representatives from our group or from the plant, it's determined at the beginning of the year. You'll either have an external audit where we come in and audit you and ask you these questions, or you do an internal audit where you answer the questions yourself, right? And it's got a number of topics along the bottom. We always start with safety. And what we do every year on this audit is, usually around January, we'll get together as a group. He's got us getting together in a couple weeks down in Savannah, so I don't know if we're gonna be doing that then, but anything you see in red has been added, right? So sometimes we'll add a whole new question, sometimes we'll just add a portion of the question to kind of clarify things, right? The big push is, from some of us anyway, is to make these audits TPO focused, right? So TPO only takes the TPO audit. Asphalt yards only take the asphalt. Right now, we're trying to lump everybody together, right? So you can see question number 4, our fume hood's fully functional. Well, it's NA for TPO, injection molding, polyiso, because you don't have, but the other plants do, right? And then we go through the customer experience. Is this yours?
Yeah, I just shared with you our actual one we're still working on for this year.
Let's see what you got.
Just because that might be more beneficial for the guys to see. Current, you can see we're not done with current year, but to see how we rated previous years.
Why did I pull my score?
Because I have to type it.
Oh, that's a typing thing, yeah. And so you see, every year, we look at previous year, and we try not to change the questions too much because we are comparing last year to this year. But I still feel like we're getting to a point where we need to start making a divide. And TPO needs their own, coatings needs their own, ISO needs their own, and then of course the asphalt guys. And so all it does, this summer charts, is just take these numbers, puts in a little bar chart, right, comparing year to year. The summary topics is actually a SWOT analysis. So we're doing strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So as we do these audits, we pick up on different things from different plants, right? It may be an instance where they aren't checking their fire extinguishers often enough, or nobody's doing the shift audits, stuff like that. And then we start in, like I said, we go with safety, then we do the customer experience, which this is kind of a new thing. I know you guys have had some challenges of actually even trying to get anybody to.
No, we scored really well on that part actually, last year. But this year, sales has not been cooperative. But in the past, we've had no issues.
Yeah,
And we were doing it before it was a thing.
Right, you guys get a lot of customers and stuff through here.
Job site visits have been difficult this year, but we do interact with a lot of customers.
And so I said that in Mount Vernon's closing meeting, and I said, this is my experience because I've done a shingle audit in Mount Vernon, I did the ISO or TPO audit, and I did Gainesville's TPO audit, and everybody's right around the 50% mark in this category on the commercial side. But the asphalt guys tell me that the shingle guys are killing it here. So, what's up, the next one? All right, so QSBP, that's actually a document that specifies how often we test what. So when we come in and do an audit, we pick 3 raw materials. some stuff in process that you're gonna do, and then the finished product testing. And so we look for two things: are you guys doing it as you're supposed to on the right frequency? And then are you performing the test as it's laid out? That kind of thing. So we actually witness the folks in the lab doing the test.
So QSBP stands for Quality Systems Best Practice. And that template is different for TPO and ISO. It does not exist for injection molding.
Yeah, it does.
Does it?
Yeah, we made it a couple years ago.
I'm right about that.
And then, of course, the shingles have got it. And then again, product conformance, you know, we run through the number. We haven't changed that one too much. Calibration, most of the plants score really well on this because most of them have third-party calibrations come in to do that. The training portion of it, this will be part of it. I think there's a question there about this training specifically. Oh, right here, last one. And then document control, that talks about, are you using the process change, are you using the RCN system, that kind of thing. System product requirements. Talks about, have you got action plans to address any shortcomings you had from your last audit? You got finished product specs, compliant with codes requirements. I don't take it off there because we cannot make a spec that doesn't have code requirements on it. Continuous improvement stuff. And then here's the last section that we actually, the operators themselves, get involved with. So there's 12 questions, yeah. So there's 12 questions. We pull 3 operators in. We want somebody that's fairly new, somebody's kind of been here maybe 5 to 8 years, and then somebody a little bit longer. Now, in your plant, you've only been operating for a number of years, so you know, we're probably gonna get more newer folks. And the main thing of this one is to ensure that the programs that have been put in place, like Force and some of the other stuff, is actually getting down to the operator level, right? I know Force is very well monitored, so there shouldn't be an issue there, but we have got some answers, like especially from the new folks that they don't quite understand Force or they haven't used it much, that kind of thing. So, you know, we encourage them to use it. So that's where the operators actually get involved with the audit. We try to do it kind of informally because, you know, those folks are not used to being in an office setting. They're not used to auditors asking them questions. We try to do it on the floor if possible. In the TPO world, it can happen because it's not as noisy. When you do it in a shingle plant, you got to pull them off the floor because you can't hear yourself talk out there. What else we got? Oh, our training website. All right, so this is something fairly new. And the guy that's with me today kind of helped develop this. And so I know you guys have your own website, right, for each plant. This is actually our website, like the corporate quality website that you drive down and get to. And what we did is we broke it down into the different categories. And again, this is based on the asphalt world, because I know it says frontline operators, but then you guys have like shift leads and shift techs and, you know, different nuances in there. But it comes down through, you guys have seen that little slide many times. I don't know how much you guys have been exposed to the gears of quality and delivered quality. That's been a big push this year. So each of these gears represent a different function that makes it work to get the product to the end user. And then there's some of the stuff we do. So if you go to the frontline operators, so in the first 6 months, we feel that these are the things that the frontline operator should be exposed to, right? So general onboarding, you guys at the plant do a great job of that. You sit down with them, show them the safety videos, talk to them about what's going on, and quality safety. So you hit each of these links, it actually comes down, and so Joey has a little message for everybody. I don't know if you guys have ever met Joey Ferraro before, but he's the vice president of quality that we all report up to. And This one, yeah, T, we're gonna need some help with this one. I haven't talked to the other tech managers about it yet either, but they want us to put something in there about roles and responsibilities. We're struggling with that one, so. I know what your different roles are out there, but it kind of changes. Like Mount Vernon does not rotate. So the winder operator is the winder operator. He don't move from the winder. Do you guys rotate?
Yes,
Okay.
but not, it's not like every day you do different, like,
Okay.
you're probably in the materials room for a while until you learn it and can move to something else.
Typically, once everybody's trained, they spend a week, like this week they'll be in the materials room, next week there's a winder,
Okay.
and it all depends on staffing and whatnot.
Right. Well, and the good thing about that, if you got everybody cross-trained, that if you do have a call out or a vacation, you can sit somebody in it. So anyway, that one's coming soon. And then we figure 6 months to a year, we'd like to know statistical processes, and we just went through internal and external audits. And then 6 months and beyond, we wanted to do these type of things, like I said, product install, we just kind of did that, other than, you know, here we would have had the opportunity to actually screw the product down, but then we couldn't take it to the lab and do the testing, so we didn't do that. Now, like in Mount Vernon, they don't have a care facility. There's a small area we were able to weld in, and that's about all you got. And then as you go down to management, it's just more sooner, right? And some of the stuff that they need, like change control, RCN, TDN system, the operators will never handle that, right? But is it?
Well, not RCN and TDN, the
Right.
PCN, at the plant level, our operators do update documents and submit new documents and things.
Okay. And brain cube, again, same kind of stuff. Is that new?
Well, I mean, we don't have any content. That was part of the roadmap, that we don't have a page or anything.
Have you guys all done this training, the KT problem solving? I imagine some of you have,
I
right?
think most of us have.
Do they do that on site now, or is Lauren
No,
still
it's
do it?
virtual.
Oh, it's virtual?
Yeah, so that way as when people come,
Yeah.
we did have it on site when we were first starting that. Lauren came on site and did it. That was back when we only had IM. Yeah, just remember we all went out and looked at nailer problems.
Seems like 100.
I've taken a refresher since.
feel that long ago.
We actually went down to Addison and had to sit through this 4 days of training.
It is nicer sometimes to be in person because you can't get distracted working on something on the side.
Well, and yeah, and everybody, so they put you in smaller groups, and then depending on what the plants were that they were coming from, we'd actually try to solve a problem, or at least document it. We may not always solve it, but we try to document that. And again, we just keep going down through there with the different positions. And so, what's that? Is that their training?
Hmm?
Is that their?
Oh, that's the Arkadelphia down there.
Okay. So you can see that's also for all the different business units, right? So coatings, ISO, my bid. ISO, does Gray come in very often? Gray Brewer?
Yes, I believe he's here right now.
Is he?
I just sent him a message. I don't know.
That's pretty cool. Oh, his don't look different anymore, okay.
Yeah, he made that match, but he's got pages that we don't have.
Oh, wait, is he, maybe he was here last week.
Oh, there's his Gantt chart. I knew he'd keep that Gantt chart in there.
Yeah. Whatever works for him. It's-
No, he's not here, I had that wrong, I'm sorry. Harrison's here.
Harrison from Gainesville?
Yeah, Gainesville ISO.
Yeah. Yeah, we just audited them a couple weeks ago. And so that's the thing, we're trying to develop this website, again, like, for all the different business units. Gray kind of took the charge in this, and I don't know if you guys know Gray or not, I don't think he ever sleeps. He's always coming up with new stuff, but, we had kind of a, I don't know, generic format, and then, so Tim not only is my mod bid expert, he's also my tech expert, right? So he knows about computers and developing websites, so he actually jumped in and made all the websites look the same. So then the last portion of this training is we actually would walk the line and talking about some of the different practices that go on, like in the material handling room, and if they mess something up, what it's gonna do to the end product, right? I don't know, you guys been out on the floor much in the office area? Yeah, no?
For the most part, yes.
Okay. But yeah, we just captured the big stations, raw material delivery, which we don't go out to the silos. We all know you got silos full of resin. You just hook a hose to it, right? And then the all-in-one station, the cap and core, the winder, and then your palletizing. Do you guys have auto dies on cap and core?
Just on cap.
Okay.
It's called us is the only people have it on the core.
All right. Gainesville's getting ready to put theirs on the core. So NDC, you got it on both?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mount Vernon only has NDC on the final sheet, they don't have it on the core only.
No. So you guys know what the NDC is? So it's a little device that actually scans the sheet, right? And it's got a radioactive isotope in it. It'll actually tell you how thick the sheet is. So when you see the graphs and they're kind of, moving around, that's the actual profile of your sheet out there.
Those black screens with the green lines and the, yeah.
That's what that is. And then you can kind of tell, we all use the same settings on the robot. We all pretty well use the same roll of TPO, but you can see the differences in the sheet by the differences we got with our weld, right? So while it looks like a flat sheet and overall it is, there are some small differences in that sheet, and you can pick it up when you do stuff like that. And the reason we do that testing repeatedly is to build that history, so when you guys go to try a new scrim or an Exxon resin or something like that, and we test it and we compare it to historical data, we know, good, bad, or indifferent. R&D's big about saying, hey, this is the newest, latest, and greatest thing. You guys get a hold of it, and sometimes it don't always work like they think it will. Right? Exxon's the one that comes to mind right now. Were you guys trying that scrim from Firestone?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's yellow.
It's yellow?
Well, the edge is yellow, I don't think the whole thing is. James did the PTR on that.
Good, bad?
Numbers look pretty good so far.
Good.
Yeah, they're waiting for the heat age stuff.
Yeah. All right, so you guys want to take a walk on the line? You guys up for that?
These two don't have to take those on. Oh, you see them on?
Oh,
Nice. Oh, yeah, 'cause you go to the lab.
Safety first.
I like that. All right, let's go take a walk. You guys still down?
No, I don't think so. Hopefully not.